All right, it's been a while, so you will excuse me if I'm all chaotic and everything. So it is Friday evening, about 7:30 to 8 o'clock, and I'm cooking dinner because we wake up very late and we eat dinner very late and all of that. I'm doing some chicken with potatoes and I hope it's gonna turn out nicely. And I decided to start filming a vlog because it is around the end of the month again, and I am panicking because I am failing my TBR spectacularly. And don't get me wrong, I'm not failing with reading in general, I'm just failing with my TBR specifically. Let me explain. Now listen, the problem is not that I'm not reading enough books. The problem is that I'm reading too many books at the same time. Let me demonstrate that for you. This is what the books that I'm currently reading look like. We have Abaddon's Gate maybe, which is a part of my November TBR. True Betrayals by Nora Roberts, also part of my November TBR. Full Metal Alchemist Volume 7, not part of my TBR. No Middle Name by Lee Child, not part of my TBR. The Dragon's Legacy, part of my TBR. The Atlas 6, part of my TBR. Queen of Shadows, not part of my TBR. And Beautiful Demons by Sarah Cannon, also not part of my TBR. On top of that, I haven't even started The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, which is a part of my TBR, and East of the West, which is also a part of my TBR. All in all, everything is a total mess. Now, why am I reading so many books? Great question, actually, and I don't have an exact answer for you. I am a notorious mood reader, and so I pick up books and then I suddenly feel like something else, so I pick up something else, and I usually have 3 or 4 books that I read at the same time, and it's not a problem, but this time, I have really gone overboard. For example, Queen of Shadows, I'm actually reading as a buddy read with a friend of mine, and I am very much into it because I am in the mood for it, and Sarah J. Maas, in general, knows how to write a book that's very gripping. Say what you want about the woman, very talented. And then, Full Metal Alchemist Volume 7. Now, this is not a big thing, it's a manga, so they usually go pretty quickly, but I started reading it after reading Full Metal Alchemist Volume 6, which was actually on my November TBR, and it really got me in the mood for reading this, so I wanted to continue with it, and I started this one. Same goes for No Middle Men by Lee Child. This is a collection of short stories that feature Jack Reacher, which this is a part of the Jack Reacher series, and I read Without Fail, which was book number 6 in the Jack Reacher series, and it was on my TBR, and it really got me into it, and I started this one. To contrast that, we have The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake, which I'm absolutely hating. It's part of my TBR. I knew I was gonna hate it because I hated her previous book because of her pretentious writing. It's the same here. And let me ask you this. How can somebody make a book about the Library of Alexandria boring? This is truly an achievement, I swear to God. So I'm not having a good time, and I am contemplating DNFing this one, but I haven't decided it yet, so it's still on my roster. And then we have True Betrayals by Nora Roberts, which it's not a bad book, don't get me wrong, but it's just not for me. It's a family drama with a hint of romance, and it's not a bad book. Again, it's written very nicely and the scenes are very beautiful, and I can see how this book could be interesting to a certain type of people, but I am not that kind of person, or at least right now in this very moment I don't feel like reading this book. So I'm contemplating DNFing it temporarily, but the problem is, and the worrying part is, that I did the same thing with another book of hers, so I don't know what to think. I'm gonna consider it. And then Abaddon's Gate is on my TBR, and I started it because I wanted to see if I could go through it as an audiobook while I'm doing my puzzles. And the problem is that I can't retain information or process information properly when it comes to books in an audio format. I don't know why. With nonfiction, I don't have a problem. I can watch, or rather listen to YouTube videos while I do other things, but when it comes to a book where I have to construct the environment in my head and make a picture and be in the action, I just can't do it in an audio format, so I started it physical as well. And then The Dragon's Legacy, honestly, is such a chore to read. This is a fantasy book, an adult fantasy from what I can understand, and it's set in a very interesting world, and and the story could potentially be very interesting. But the problem is that the author has put too many made up names and words into this book, or maybe they're from another language that I don't speak, but I think they are made up specifically for this book. And I am 8 chapters in maybe, and I've already ran into over 60 names and over 45 made up words. Now, this is too much. I can understand world building and the desire to make a big, nice world, but pace yourself. Start slowly in the beginning and then build up upon it later on. You don't have to dump all this on me. I don't need 1,000 named characters in the beginning, and we switch points of view so rapidly, we've barely repeated a point of view. I'm not having a good time, okay? I am reading it because it's for my dragon readathon. Otherwise, I would have probably soft DNF'd it or DNF'd it in general, but I'm gonna continue and try to push through. And when it comes to Beautiful Demons, I follow the author Sarah Cannon on YouTube. She has an AuthorTube channel. I'm gonna link it down below, and I really enjoy watching her videos. She does this kind of vlogging of her process of writing books and tutoring of aspiring authors, and I think she's a beautiful, amazing, lovely person. And while I have no aspirations of becoming an author ever, I just enjoy watching her and listening to her speak. I've been following her for the longest time, but I never read her books until now because they're young adult, and I am kind of phasing out of that category. The truth is that I am in my late 30s and I can no longer relate to a teenager, which is completely normal. And so I've been staying away from her books. But the other day, she said something about her earlier work in her first book, and I just got this desire to start reading it. I got it as an ebook and I started reading it, and I am around 60% into it. It's a very short book, 190 or 200 pages or something like that. And to be honest with you, I'm having a good time. I wouldn't call it a masterpiece, which is completely normal considering that it's a very short book, but I am having a good time. I am enjoying it. I would equate it sort of to Harry Potter for girls to an extent, but then a little bit more grown up than the early Harry Potter books. And the themes are a little bit different, but it kind of gave me that atmosphere a little bit. Again, Sarah Cannon is lovely. If you haven't watched her until now, give her a review. She has this lovely way of expressing herself, and she does a lot of inspirational talk and a lot of pep talking. She's very honest. I love watching her. So this is basically the story of how I ended up reading 8 books at the same time. But now we have to figure out what I'm gonna do about it, since it's basically the last week of November and I really want to finish reading all the books, and I have to film wrap-ups and TBRs and all of that, and it's gonna be a very busy time. And I think the best strategy, given the circumstances, would be to start with the books that are gonna take the least amount of time to finish so that I can build up some momentum and then continue with the longer ones or the more difficult ones to get through. I also think I'm gonna spend a little bit of time tonight, maybe give it an hour to read The Atlas 6 and True Betrayals and decide whether I'm gonna DNF them or continue with them. And if I decide to DNF them, I'm just gonna do it, get them off my list, get them off my mind, and then continue with everything else. Clean house, so to speak. Okay, here's what. I have made one decision, and that is to DNF the Atlas 6. I am at page 148, and I am not enjoying myself. I am bored. I am frustrated with these people. It's not worth it. I'm just wasting my time. I am torturing myself with this nonsense, so I'm just gonna DNF it. How this book gained such popularity, I will never know, but whatever, maybe it's just me. And then True Betrayals by Nora Roberts. Again, definitely not a bad book. I would go as far as to recommend it to people who are looking for romantic book with a bit of family drama, quite a bit of family drama actually, who are looking for that kind of catharsis in seeing yourself in other families or living through their issues and extrapolating meaning for yourself out of their suffering. Nora Roberts is definitely a good writer. I'm just not the proper audience for this type of books, and so I still can't decide whether I'm gonna DNF this one or not. I'm gonna give it some more thought tomorrow. For today, I think I'm just gonna leave it as is and continue reading something that I'm actually interested in reading, and that is Beautiful Demons by Sarah Cannon. I think I'm gonna try to finish it tonight because, as I mentioned earlier, it's a very short book, so I'm gonna do that and just continue chilling. Good morning. It is Saturday around 9:30 in the morning, and it is so cold and so dark outside. The sky feels like it's right here. Last night I ended up going to bed pretty late, but I spent the evening basically enjoying myself. I read the Beautiful Demons book. I didn't manage to finish it, but I got pretty further into it, and it got kind of dark and kind of twisted, and I quite liked that. One thing I'm going to say about Sarah Cannon is that she knows how to write a short chapter to the point, and then at the end of it leave you wanting more, kind of like putting a cliffhanger at the end of each chapter, and I really like that. And then I did a bit of a puzzle. I'm doing this very beautiful puzzle, which is a map of Eriador, which is west of Arda from The Lord of the Rings, where the Shire is located and a bunch of other stuff. It's very pretty. It's a bit difficult to do though, because things are very tiny and the map is gigantic and there are big empty areas, but I'm enjoying myself. That was pretty much all I did last night, but whilst doing the puzzle I realized that yesterday was the due date for my car insurance payment and I forgot about it. So this morning I'm gonna go and try to find an open place where I can do that, so that, you know, I don't have to worry about it. I still have a few days after the due date where I can pay it with no penalty, but I prefer to do things as soon as possible. I don't know how I forgot this time. It doesn't happen to me very often that I forget those things. On top of that, I have to go to a delivery office where I have a package to pick up, and I would like to go and find the book East of the West as a physical copy. If not, I'm gonna purchase it as an ebook and try to read it this week as well. I'm rambling right now, so I'm gonna go make myself some coffee, go get the car, do all the things, come back, and then the rest of the day is just gonna be reading and chilling, and I can't wait for that. Okay, so I am back. I managed to pay my car insurance, I paid some bills, I picked up my package, and now I made myself a second cup of coffee because it's raining outside and it's literally the perfect day for reading. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pick up Beautiful Demons and I'm gonna try to finish it right now with this lovely warm cup of coffee. Honestly, I don't want to leave the apartment today anymore. I just want to cook some nice food and do some nice reading and spend a quiet, chill day at home, but we'll see what my boyfriend boyfriend is gonna say, because he's the more motivated of the two of us to go to the gym. He has more willpower of the two of us, I would say, even though I love going to the gym now and I enjoy it. It's just getting there is what trips me up usually, and it's not even that far. But anyway, I'm gonna pick up my book, drink up my coffee, and enjoy. Okay, so it's about 1 a.m. right now. We came home about 30-40 minutes ago and had a bit of food. We went out. I've forgotten that there was a martial art event for which we had tickets. We had bought them a while back and I completely forgotten about it, but we went out. It was still raining terribly, but we got there and it was great. Pretty much every single fight was amazing. We had a great time, but we came home very late and I'm about to take my makeup off and sit down and read a little bit. I am like 2 chapters away from the ending of Beautiful Demons, and I think I'm just gonna read those and go to bed. We'll see how it goes. But it was a very good day, very nice, very relaxing, very enjoyable. Looking forward to tomorrow. Good morning. It is Sunday and it is snowing. This is the first time I see snow here in, I don't know, a long time. I saw some last year, but for like a few hours, and this is way more than we have usual. It's not a lot of snow, don't get me wrong, but it is a lot for this place and I'm liking it, to be honest with you. As a car owner, I'm not excited about it, but as a person who has been a child at one point in her life, it makes me happy to see it. I love winter and it's lovely. Oh my god, it's so pretty. Doesn't snow always make everything more beautiful because it's hiding the uglies? Amazing. My cats disagree, I guess. By the way, the cats love the air conditioner, heater, whatever, and they always try to stay in the stream of it. It's really funny to see. This here is chilling and watching the snow, aren't you? Aren't you? How much you can see, but the snow is getting stronger by the minute. It's really pretty. It doesn't look like much on camera, but in real life it's way more impressive, I swear. So the weather improved somewhat, even though it's still kind of crappy, but we went to the gym and it was like day and it was terrible and I'm so happy it's over. So now we're gonna cook and have some food and then I'm gonna do some more reading and maybe start editing this vlog because I would like to post it tomorrow, which is Monday. And I think that's pretty much it for today.